Every house tells a story. What does the Opera House say about the last 60, 70 years in this country?
The Opera House represents a lot of the Australian spirit, I think, and reinforces the Australian spirit, which is, you know what, we're just going to give it a go. We're going to give it our best shot. Let's really try to make this marvellous. And, you know, there could be some heartache along the way, and we might change our mind, but ultimately we will succeed. You look at the outside and you can't believe the shapes, you know, no matter which angle you look at it from, it appears different. So if you look at it front on, say, standing on the forecourt, the arches feels very tight, sort of like looking at the entrance to a cathedral. And yet when you look at it side on, it appears massive and generous and huge. It was an idea that Joe Carl, who was the then Premier, had. He said, we need an opera house to build a better and more enlightened community. This sort of building from a plan without any idea of the engineering or how it was going to work, how they were going to construct the shells, it would never happen these days. And it certainly would never happen in the most beautiful setting that we can have in Sydney Harbour.
Danish architect Jon Utzon was a relatively unknown 38-year-old when he was announced as the winner of the design competition for the new Sydney Opera House in 1957. Sadly, he was forced to resign by the state government, and he left the country never to return, leaving our home of the arts to be finished by local architect Peter Hall. In 1998, the Opera House Trust reached out to Utzon, giving him the chance to redesign the space that now bears his name. It was a reconciliation that moved him greatly.
It gives me a greatest pleasure and satisfaction. Yeah, I don't think you can give me more joy as the architect.
I went to Denmark because I thought I need to meet the Utzons, right? And I said, thank you so much for the Opera House. And they said, no, thank you for the Opera House. Thank you, Australia, for the Opera House, because it never would have been built in Denmark. This is kind of like this gift, this piece of magic that just happened. And people think of the Opera House. They don't think of the Opera House as being part of a whole stream of wonderful development of architecture in Australia. They just think of, oh, that's the Opera House, that's an amazing place. We've never really properly managed to connect it into the way we see a broader stream of architecture and design, I don't think.
Why is that?
Probably we haven't been good enough at telling the story.